Well, what a couple of weeks it's been. People from all over have been reaching out, asking questions, and wanting to chime in on my recent video exposing Camping World and how they owe millions of dollars to RVers all over the country. RVers who purchased a new RV from them between 2017 and today. Now, that's just not my opinion. It is the ruling of a judge in Oregon who set a precedent. And this decision has opened the proverbial floodgates for refund claims for RV buyers who purchased from Camping World across all 47 other states, including yours. Now, what I want to point out for those who don't know, Kevin Frazer, who I will be visiting with in just a minute, Kevin and his two brothers are the owners of Cheyenne Camping Center, an absolutely stellar family-owned, family-run dealership in Iowa. They are one of America's most trusted RV dealers. They have been for like 6 decades. When it comes to towable RVs, from bumper pulls to top-end fifth wheels and toy haulers, no one has a better reputation for honesty and integrity, and no one is more of a straight shooter than they are at Cheyenne. So what's the backstory? What's the backstory on why Kevin Frazer is so relentless in exposing the truth about Camping World? Well, you'll find out in today's video, and I think that you will understand that exposing the truth is what my friend is all about. Now, throughout the video, you're going to be seeing some different color-coded QR codes down the corner of the screen. Each one is different. A different color is a different QR code. And each one is important, especially if you have purchased a new RV from Camping World, like I said, all the way back to 2017 to today. So, have your phone ready to scan them, and if you miss one or you're unable to scan, don't worry, the links are down in the description below. As always, we got a really good response to our recent video, the one about Camping World, and today I would like to present some of the comments that people have made to get you to respond, and we can talk about them. And before we begin, if nobody saw that video, can you sort of summarize what it was all about?
For at least 7 years, people have been telling their attorney generals in the many states that Camping World has been abusing the consumer protection laws concerning overcharges on RVs being sold by Camping World. And finally, in December of last year, the Oregon Attorney General, with a judge's ruling, found against Camping World and assessed millions of dollars in damages, with more to come. That's the precedent. That means everybody in the other 47 states now has a valid claim to get their refund and get out from underneath the situations that Camping World put them into.
And we have created a document, or I have created a document and a QR code. We're going to go ahead and put it on the screen now, folks. If you missed that video or you just want to go ahead and jump forward, scan the QR code. There's also a link in the description of this video down below that will walk you step by step by step. If you purchased a new RV or maybe even a used RV from Camping World from 2017 through today, you may well be due lots and lots of money. And this is not just a little thing, Kevin. This is a big deal. Could be a very big deal for consumers.
Looks like the smallest ones are going to be something like $7,500. And then that would be on a $20,000 RV, the example that we showed. And of course, Camping World's average RV sale is $40,000. So yeah, it could be a lot more.
All right. Well, again, that QR code is on the screen. We're going to pull it down. I don't want to leave it up all the time. But we are definitely getting the attention of Camping World because I've got some people that have been sending me their correspondence with state attorney generals, and we'll talk about that maybe in another video. Some of the comments, though, I want to start says, so I bought my camper from Campers Inn, and there's some of those same junk fees on there. Can we go after Campers Inn with this also?
Absolutely. It's the law. The precedent won't apply, but that's going to be expanded because of the different courts' understanding of what's been going on. Yes, Campers Inn has many ex-Camping World employees. They saw that the law wasn't being enforced. They told their bosses at Campers Inn, we can do this too and enhance our profitability enormously. When the different AGs, see, we published that video back in 2018 that warned everybody about this, and people didn't file with the AGs but nobody ever had a finding, a precedent. I attribute that to delays caused by the pandemic. But yes, campers in personnel mimicked what the other dealers just all started doing it. When our video came out in 18, the Camping World signs that was during show season, the Camping World signs in all their units at the Kansas City and the Miami show that said it costs you more if you buy cash, no credit. Those all came down and they stayed down for a long time. But then nothing happened to Camping World. So not only did Camping World kick it into gear again, all the competitors said we can get away with it too.
So it's sort of like if, I know this may not be a good metaphor, but if somebody gets away with shoplifting at a certain store and gets the word, hey, you can take whatever you want to go shoplift, you attract more shoplifters. This was a way to extract money from consumers, and the dealer's like, they didn't get in trouble, so I guess we can go extract that money as well.
You use Campers Inn as an example. Campers Inn has many ex-employees of Camping World, and those ex-employees said, it worked at Camping World, so why not for us? And yeah, your shoplifting is a fair analogy, you bet.
Okay, here's one.
And that precedent, but that precedent from Oregon should still be attached to any complaints that your viewer just talked about at Campers Inn, because that precedent outlaws the very specific nature of the law and why it's a precedent. It's if it was also Camping World, perfect, it's done. But the judge is going to, and the Department of Justice people in your home state are going to be able to see the same thing is true. They've been breaking the law. You've been getting ripped off. So yeah, Campers Inn or any of the other people, if you've got these charges on an RV for freight, for prep, and then charges because you finance with your own credit union, specifically outlined by the judge in Oregon. Those are the easy ones. There are others that people could explore in the video we published in 2018, but this is the easy money. This is the money that AGs across the United States are going to gain for you.
And they are aggressively, it looks like to me, going after Camping World and checking in these claims. Here's one that says, how does this get around the statute of limitations? Most SOLs are only for 3 or 4 years. But I know you're not a lawyer, but this is, go ahead.
This is a consumer protection statute. You're not going to sue anybody. You're not going to charge anybody with criminal behavior. There's no statute of limitations on the recovery of consumer protection money. Now, why does it only go back to 16 or 17? That's a different question. You see, Camping World was it wasn't even a public company. And prior to 16, their dealership group that sold RVs and probably engaged in the same tactics, but I don't know that. I don't have any documents from those days. They sold RVs under a different corporate name. And I don't even remember the corporate name, but that's the reason why we're focusing on 17 and after, because that's when Camping World became a public company. And all of your paperwork shows that. So it's a clean, clear violation for your attorney generals to focus on.
All right, folks, what I'm doing is I'm reading comments that you guys have made, and we're responding to them. So here's another one. It says, I'm not defending them, but you only get screwed if you don't educate yourself before making a large purchase. It's real easy to say, no, I'm not paying that. But it's the way that Camping World went about it. It's the way that they are deceiving the purchaser, isn't it?
Oh, God. This is why I made the video back in 2018. It's insidious what they do. They convince their customers that not only is it normal, but everybody does it, including specifically our firm. They accused our firm of using the exact same methods and tactics, which we had to put that video back up on 18 so that we could defend ourselves. Right now on Camping World's homepage, they have a 3.5-minute video to tell their customers that there's nothing to see here with these fees. These are normal and natural. Every dealer's got it. You can go to their homepage, Camping World homepage, and look at this 3.5-minute video about fees and why they're normal. They're not normal. It's part of the deception. And when the consumer says, I'm paying those, well, then you ain't getting no RV. Well, I'll go to another dealer. They charge the same fees. It's not true. It's the big lie told well. Big lies told well are called propaganda. The newest version was dated December 16th, 2024. If your viewers are going to look for it. I think it might disappear pretty soon because it is fundamentally an admission of organization, a very, you know where that could go. That
Oh
could go to
man,
racketeering.
that's big. And this just kind of follows along the same lines. Why do you always bash Camping World? They're in business to make a profit. They're not the Red Cross. Why don't you bash Jersey Mike's for selling a large sub for 18 to 20 bucks that cost only about $1 or $2 in ingredients? Is it okay for Jersey Mike's to make a profit? And so it's a difference between making a profit and making a killing by being dishonest and fraudulent.
But even she's asking me, or he's asking me, why are you doing this? And the reason I'm doing it is Camping World, Marcus Lemonis himself called a meeting together of his regional store managers from here in the Midwest. It was 9 states, I think. And he wanted to know why they were underperforming here in the Midwest for profitability. And they told him it was because of those Frazer brothers over in eastern Iowa that we sell our RVs too cheap, and it was causing them to take lower margins. And so Lemonis at that meeting promised to put the 3 brothers down, like the last trip to the vet for the beloved family pet. So I made that video to protect us as a shield. We don't do this stuff and get off our backs, Marcus Lemonis. Oh, it got worse than that, but we won't go into that.
Oh my God. Kevin, I just love you. I love your spirit and your standing up for principles and what is right. And I guess he just pushed the wrong guy in the wrong way. All right. It says, I have a dealer saying that I have to pay almost $3,000 for a 100-point inspection, and it was not negotiable. They said, we don't charge freight though. LOL. Who do they think they're kidding? I wanted NRVIA to inspect, but then I'd be out almost $7,000 between the two. What?
I got a question for this one. Is it a used RV? If it's a used RV and they try that on you and they haven't advertised the price, they don't have public speech. But if it's a used RV, they can say that legally. But you don't have to buy it. Just walk away from that. But if it's a new RV, finally, thank you, Oregon. The legal precedent is set. That's part of the MSRP. They can't charge you that.
Going back to the used RV thing, if a dealer were to sell a used RV and advertise a price, there's the fixed price, whatever it happens to be, and I want to buy it, and then the dealer takes me back into the finance room and says, oh, and then there's this charge, there's a prep charge, there's all these other charges, camp fee I've heard recently mentioned, thousands of dollars. And it's not optional. You have to pay it. Shouldn't that have to be in the price that's advertised?
Every state has a law that if you advertise a price, you must honor it. But it's not a situation. A used RV is not a situation that is covered by the precedent that Oregon gave us in December. So okay. Just don't pay it. But if there's an advertised price or not even a public speech price, you got a written quote, and then you go to pick it up and they say, oh, no, it's going to cost you this much more. I, of course, would just walk away. But if you complete it, you've been defrauded. But that's not the same as the law that we're covering here. That's not the same as the no statute of limitations. That's not the same as your AG will defend you and get this for you. No, it has to be a new RV for all those things to be true.
Okay. That's great information. Here's somebody that says, can a dealer have a line item for dealer prep? On our contract, we have the MSRP listed, discounted price, then the dealer prep, taxes, etc. Is this different from what was described in the video? Because in the video, in those documents, we gave an example of where to look for these items that you might have been charged for that you can get your money back on. Are there certain different categories that are different from the
Yeah.
example?
The MSRP tells you that it is um, ready for use. And if there's a dealer prep fee in there on a new one, the MSRP has already covered that. The MSRP has also covered the destination charge from the factory to the dealer. So if they're saying, oh, well, we got to have prep on a new one again, it's a new one. No, that's not true. That's covered by the law. And it's covered by the judge's ruling in Oregon. Those are fees that should come back to the consumer. And the AG will defend you on this. And the attorney general is going to get administration fees, just like in Oregon, for doing the work of recovering these funds that were taken.
I know that at Cheyenne, you sell an RV, and when you give somebody a price, it's you call it the out the door price. It's everything. It's the discounts, it's the out the door price. But it seems to me that many dealers give you one price, but that's not really the out the door price. By the time they get beating you up, it's thousands of dollars, can be up to $10,000, even more.
That's right. And in the example that was given to us out of Lansing, Michigan, in a Camping World dealer just in January of this year, on a $20,000 RV, it amounted to $7,500. And that didn't even include that I'm doing my own financing charge. So no, they can't do that. When we published this back in 2018, the first one, the Camping World, the Truth, the defensive video, I got calls all the time from people. They were concerned that they weren't getting the money from the AG. We probably should cover this in another segment, but the AG just moved too slow, and because they moved too slow, the world sold 100,000 units last year, and in 8 years, 800,000. It's not quite that many, but most of these people have been ripped off. There's a lot of money involved here.
This could be, I think it could be catastrophic for Camping World. And it probably should be. Here's another comment. It says, I bought my RV at Camping World in Kentucky, and the RV's at a campground in Kentucky, but I live in Ohio. Which state do I file my claim? Kentucky?
Contract was made in Kentucky.
Okay.
Could be in Kentucky.
All right. What about folks that were ripped off but don't have their RV anymore, but they still have the paperwork to document what happened? Can they still file a claim?
Yes. Now, it's going to be up to the attorney general. Now, is the attorney general looking to see if you still own it or if you've traded it off? No, the attorney general is looking to see on the date that contract was executed, did Camping World take money from you they weren't entitled to, that they took from you unlawfully? They'll get that recovery for you.
All right. This is so good. Folks, if you have a question or a comment, drop it down below, because Kevin has agreed to. This is a big deal. As you heard, Marcus wanted to take the brothers out, and there's nothing that will motivate somebody, a good man, than somebody putting them up against the corner and saying, oh, really? And, Kevin's willing to fight back with the truth. This one says, we bought a used one from them. So they bought a used RV from Camping World. A 2021 transport fee was included, plus an inspection fee. Can they go back after that on a used RV?
Graham, we're not covered by that precedent in Oregon because it's a used unit. But this is the fraud. I would send it to the AG in your home state or the state where the contract was made, because it's clear that if it was a used one, there was no freight involved because the guy that traded it in brought it to that lot. And of course, it wasn't disclosed in the advertising that there would be freight and prep fees, but we're not covered by that beautiful judge's ruling in Oregon. But all states have a rule that if you advertise something, you have to sell it for that price. And it's quite clear. I can't even imagine an administrative law judge that would look at a situation like that and not rule for the owner.
What about this one asks, what if we no longer have the paperwork? This happened to us, but we no longer have the paperwork. I guess Camping World's not going to cough up that paperwork.
You are obligated to do so if you request it in writing. That's what I would do.
Wow. That's good to know, because a lot of people have sold their RV.
Help. Yeah, but where did the paperwork go? Why don't they have the paperwork? I've encountered this over and over and over again. People say, I didn't get my paperwork when I picked it up at the dealer. Why didn't you? Well, they took it all and put it in their file. Well, you better get those copies. You better have that information because when you go to resell it, that information is going to be very important. And when you go to trade it off, you want to have that. Uh, if they did not provide you with copies of the contract, they're in violation of the law just doing that. Now, if you do not have the paperwork and you simply don't remember, I would contact Camping World and say, I don't think you gave me the copy of my copies of the paperwork the day we picked it up. I would appreciate that you send that. Camping World will use a dodge saying that you have to prove you are who you are so that we're not running afoul of privacy laws. You may have to send them an email or a text with your driver's license, but they're obligated to send it to you.
Oh, that's such good information to know. So Marcus wants to put down Cheyenne Camping Center and the Frazer brothers, like Kevin said, like the beloved family pet's last trip to the vet. How nice, right? What would you do? What would you do if someone said something like that about you, and something as personal as they were going to take you down, take your family's business down? To me, that would be one very, very powerful motivator. And I'll tell you this, Kevin is not someone who's seeking the limelight. He is not. He's just the opposite. He is shining the light of truth on a man who has perfected, well, what I call the art of the steal. Yes, the art of the steal, stealing millions and millions from innocent people who have been manipulated, basically lied to. Now, what you saw in today's video is just a part of what we shot in that interview. There's a whole lot more to come, and it's good, really good. If you enjoyed today's video, please help us get it out there and share it with everyone in the RVing community. And remember to like and comment and leave any questions or thoughts you may have down below. I'm Alan Warren, the RV Wingman, connecting you with America's most trusted RV dealers who still do business with integrity and honor. And you can trust them. Scan the QR code you see on the screen right now, and you can listen to hundreds of conversations I have had with actual RV buyers who have done business with these awesome dealers. A link is also in the description of the video down below. Thank you for watching. Y'all be safe, have fun, play nice, and don't leave your good manners at home.